Many people believe that we must remember everything to know who we truly are. We hold on to our past. We keep every happy memory because we miss the joy. We keep every sad memory because we want to learn from our pain. But is it always wise to carry everything with us? Does our past make us stronger, or does it eventually hold us back? Today, I want to share a story about a man who tried to wear his entire life on his shoulders. By the end of this story, you might ask yourself, am I walking freely into my future, or am I trapped by the weight of my past? Once, in a quiet valley surrounded by high mountains, lived a man named Julian. Julian was a very talented weaver. He made the most beautiful blankets, scarves, and coats in the valley. He was also a very thoughtful and sensitive man. He loved his life, and he never wanted to forget a single moment of it. One evening, Julian had an idea. He decided to create a special coat. He called it his Memory Cloak. Every time he experienced something important, he would weave a new, thick thread into the coat. When he felt great joy, he wove a bright, shining yellow thread into the fabric. When he felt deep sadness or fear, he wove a heavy, dark gray thread. When he learned a new lesson, he added a thick brown thread. Julian believed that every single memory was important. If I keep my happy memories close, he thought, I will never feel completely sad. And if I keep my painful memories close, I will never make the same mistakes again. At first, the Memory Cloak was a beautiful thing. It was light, colorful, and unique. Julian wore it proudly around the village. People admired the bright yellow threads and asked him about his happy days. But as the years passed, Julian experienced more and more of life. He lived through harsh winters and beautiful summers. He lost friends and made new ones. He faced failures and celebrated successes. And every single day, he added more threads to his coat. Slowly, the coat grew longer. It reached his knees, then his ankles, and finally, it dragged on the ground behind him. The fabric became incredibly thick and heavy. Because Julian refused to take the coat off, his daily life began to change. When he walked through the village, the heavy coat caught on rocks and bushes. When he tried to work at his loom, the thick sleeves made his arms tired. His shoulders ached constantly from the terrible weight. One warm evening, the village held a grand festival. There was lively music, dancing, and delicious food. Everyone was laughing and spinning under the stars. Julian stood at the edge of the dance floor. He wanted to dance too. He tapped his foot to the music, but when he tried to step forward, the heavy Memory Cloak pulled him back. He was simply too tired to move quickly. A young woman named Alara noticed him standing alone. She walked over and smiled. Julian, why don't you come and dance with us? The music is wonderful tonight. Julian sighed and touched his heavy coat. I cannot, Alara. My coat is too heavy for dancing. Alara looked at the massive, dragging fabric. Then take it off for a while. Leave it on this chair. You can put it back on later. Julian shook his head firmly. You do not understand. This coat holds my entire life. Every joy, every sorrow, every lesson I have ever learned is in these threads. If I take it off, I might forget who I am. Alara looked at him with gentle, sad eyes. But Julian, your life is happening right now, on this dance floor. If you carry all your yesterdays so tightly, you have no hands left to catch today. Julian felt a little angry. He thought Alara was too young to understand the value of the past. He turned around and walked slowly back to his house. But her words stayed in his mind. A few months later, the valley prepared for the sunrise journey. Once a year, the villagers climbed the tallest mountain before dawn. They did this to watch the morning sun rise over the entire world. It was said to be the most breathtaking sight a person could ever see. Julian had always wanted to see it. He packed a small bag of water and started the journey with the others. The path was very steep and narrow. The night air was freezing. At first, Julian's thick coat kept him warm, but as the path went higher and higher, the air grew thin. The climb became very difficult. Julian's legs burned with effort. His shoulders felt like they were carrying solid rocks. The heavy, dark threads of his past sadness seemed to pull him down toward the earth. The long fabric dragged on the stones behind him. Soon the other villagers passed him. They were walking lightly, talking, and laughing softly in the dark. Come on, Julian, they called out. The sun will be up soon. Julian tried to walk faster, but he stumbled. He fell to his knees on the hard, rocky path. He was completely exhausted. He could not take one more step. He looked up at the mountain peak. It was still so far away. The sky was just starting to turn light blue. He was going to miss it. He was going to miss the beautiful sunrise because he could not carry his heavy coat any further. Suddenly, he remembered Alara's words. If you carry all your yesterdays so tightly, you have no hands left to catch today. Julian looked at the thick fabric covering his body. He touched a bright yellow thread from a summer long ago. He touched a dark gray thread from a winter he survived. He realized that these events were already inside him. They had shaped his heart. He did not need to carry the physical weight to know who he was. With trembling hands, Julian reached for the buttons of his cloak. Slowly, he unfastened them. He let the heavy coat slide off his aching shoulders. It fell to the rocky ground with a soft, heavy thud. Instantly, Julian felt a rush of cold, fresh air against his skin. He stood up. He felt incredibly light. His back was straight. His arms swung freely by his sides. He took a step forward. It was easy. He took another step, then another. Soon, Julian was running up the steep path. He felt like he was flying. He reached the top of the mountain just as the first golden rays of the sun broke over the horizon. The light washed over his face, warm and bright. He smiled, breathing deeply, feeling completely alive in that exact moment. He was no longer carrying his past. He was finally standing in the present. We all have a memory cloak. We all carry things from our past. We carry old hurts, old mistakes, and even old happy days that we wish we could live again. It is natural to want to remember, but we must understand that the past is a place to learn from, not a place to live in. If we hold on to everything, our minds become heavy. We become too tired to enjoy the simple, beautiful things happening right now. Letting go does not mean you forget who you are. It means you are giving yourself the freedom to become someone new. You cannot change what happened yesterday, but today is completely fresh. Today is waiting for you. So ask yourself, what heavy threads are you carrying right now? Is it time to take off the coat? Forgive others, forgive yourself, leave the weight behind, and step lightly into your beautiful present moment. So ask yourself, what heavy threads are you carrying right now? Is it time to take off the coat? Forgive others, forgive yourself, leave the weight behind, and step lightly into your beautiful present moment.